Alright, so in the last video, I ended up talking so long that I decided just to end that one and do the wheels in a separate video. So in this one, we're going to take the wheels off, I'm going to disassemble them, we're going to get these hubs laced up to the new rims. By the end of it, those tires and wheels are going to be on. So I've been waiting for this part. I'm excited for this because these tires and wheels are going to really change the look of this thing. These are Shinko SR241s. Wheels are going to be these Excel Takasago lightweight rims, and I'm super excited to get started. So let's get right into it. All right, so here's where I'm at. The rear wheel's assembled and I'm in the process of truing it. I've got a little bit of play up and down that I'm not happy with. I don't know if you can see that. But side to side, it's looking really good. So I think side to side play I'm okay with, but I need to do a little bit more adjustment. So I'm not gonna cover like too much detail into how I laced these spokes. The rear was relatively easy because you have spokes that are coming out on the outside of the hub and spokes that are going on the inside of the hub. And without going into too much detail, that does make it easier to lace this up correctly. The front, on the other hand, is not like that. All of the spokes go in the same direction. And I've had a hell of a time trying to get this to go together, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I did at one point have this together, but I actually didn't have it right. Actually I have some photos I printed out. This is the original setup, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera very well, but there's one, two, three spokes going over the inner spoke. The way that I had it laced was I had 2 spokes going over the inner spoke. So these never were able to tighten down because I didn't have them crossed far enough. I tried to do it again. I must have spent 2 hours on it and I just could not get it done. And at this point, I would really just like to get this bike assembled and on the road. And I've run out of patience with this. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna bring this out to a shop, have them lace it up. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish truing that wheel, and then we're gonna put tires on these and get them back on the bike. And then all I gotta really do before this is rideable is mount the fuel tank. So that's where we're at. I was hoping to do this all myself, but lacing that wheel is one of the harder things I've ever done to a vehicle. And it's not because I don't understand it, it's that the parts are very uncooperative, because you have to put them into the hub first and then set that in here and then try to arrange them in such a way where you can assemble them all at once and get like a pattern going. And I would really just like it to get done. So anyway, that's what's going on. Let's continue. All right, so I think about a month has passed since I started this video, and I'm happy that we're finally wrapping this up. So both wheels are on. Again, this is the Excel 21-inch rim laced to the stock hub with custom spokes, and that's the Shinko tire on there. Same on the back. This tire is a 18-inch, which is bigger than the original rear on the Rebel. With this tire, the overall size, the overall diameter is about the same as the original rear was. So I don't expect to have any clearance problems as far as the tire hitting the frame or hitting my my new fender, which I haven't put on yet. There's a new chain. It's a gold DID chain. The bike needed a chain and I wanted it to look good. So I think this looks pretty cool. I also removed the stickers from the swing arm. Some of that information was actually useless because it was pertaining to the original rear tire. And the other information was really just about how much slack to have in the chain. Moving up here, I did retuck some of the wiring. I am going to wrap this all in electrical tape so it's a little more secure than it even is now. Originally, and I tried doing this, was I was going to make a plate that would go in front of the wiring here, and it would actually use the hardware that I'm bolting the voltage regulator with to attach, but it's too tight to pull something like that off. And honestly, I thought the plate was going to contact the swing arm when the swing arm comes up. So I feel a lot better just leaving this here with a zip tie and some electrical tape. It's not that bad looking, and it's a lot more secure than it appears to be. I had some spare fuel hose, so I replaced some of these other carburetor drain tubes with the clear hose. And I have this big hose that I ordered specifically for this. I realized I kind of wanted all the hoses to match, but while I was installing this, I realized I could actually remove that oil catch tube. On the internet, I think they call it the puke tube. So when the crankcase kicks engine oil out, this tube down here was supposed to catch it. But if it does kick it out, it's very unlikely it's going to make it all the way up here and into the filter or into the engine. And because this is clear, I will know if oil is starting to accumulate, and I can actually pull this off and just dump it. So we're going to try to run it like this for a while, and if there's a problem with it, I'll let you know. Moving up here, I did install my kickstand light. So now that comes on with the neutral light, and both of these are the original lenses that were in the speedometer assembly, and I've just fitted them through the holes in the frame. So I wired that up, and Yeah, I'm really happy with how that looks. Also on the ignition side, this originally, I don't know if you remember, this was wrapped in electrical tape, and that's how it was wedged in there. I actually found a rubber grommet that would fit this. It was from, the original ignition had a rubber grommet on it, and I destroyed mine trying to cut it down, but I found one on eBay. So that guy probably didn't expect that he would ever sell that, but I bought it, so thanks, buddy. I did have to, in order to fit that, I had to make a longer spacer tube in here so I could tighten it down, so I had to buy a different bolt, but I think it's a more finished look, and I'm pretty happy. So moving up front, I've installed the Trail Tech Endurance speedometer. Because while this thing was in pieces, I really wanted to just start making progress on it, so I just started doing things. So I made a custom mount for this, and that attaches to the bottom of the upper triple clamp using existing hardware and holes that were there. That's probably going to get painted if I do paint this clamp here, which I'm considering doing. But it's really sturdy. It's 16 gauge steel. And it may not look the prettiest. I did do it with a Dremel, but it really does the job. I've already gone ahead and drilled the tank for mounting. So I've marked holes in the frame there. And so next, I'm going to drill the frame, and we're going to weld the bungs in there. And then that tank can be bolted down and actually used. After that happens, the exhaust is getting done. I'll show you what I've got for the exhaust. So these are, we've got two of these black mufflers. I got them from a shop in Wisconsin. These are specifically designed for the Rebel. And really it's gonna require me to cut the pipe off about right here. This will go on, it will get clamped on and sealed with some exhaust gasket. I'd like to get it in a position where I can use this mount to bolt up here where the existing exhaust support is at, because it does add some rigidity, and it looks like I should be able to reuse those bolts. So we're gonna try to do that. And then fender needs to get mounted. That's probably the last big hurdle, is that I have to make some kind of a mount that will attach to these and then come over and clip onto this. I'm gonna figure something out, but oh, I almost forgot. Ryan Turcott of RH Machine Shop volunteered to send me these little bad boys. Hoping that's in focus. But these are mirror plugs that he custom machined and threaded just for me. And they feature the FTB logo. These are awesome. This is such a cool touch. And they match the materials of the levers. So this is awesome, man. Thanks, Ryan. It's a really cool detail that I didn't expect to have on this bike, and that's pretty badass. I love those things. His Instagram is RH Machine Shop. So if you guys need any cool motorcycle parts or car parts made, I'm sure he would love to help you out. So yeah, that's where we're at. Next video, I'm gonna drill the frame. We're gonna weld the bungs on there. Then I'll probably make mounts for the fender, get that mounted up. This thing will probably get test ridden. Then I'm gonna clean out the tank after I test ride it, and I'm gonna go see about having these powder coated, probably a dark metallic green. That's what I'm thinking. I've got some samples from Prismatic Powders. This is the color I'm thinking of doing. It's got a metallic flake in it. It's called Laser Emerald. I love this color. I want something that's gonna look nice, but it's not gonna be something that some people like definitely don't like. I want it to be tasteful. So I'm doing something dark and not very controversial. A couple of my other ideas were this lighter green, which I'm actually not as big of a fan of. This is called Illusion Moss. It costs twice as much as that on their website, but I like the darker one better. This, which is called Spiced Black. It's black with like a really big silver flake in it, but I think if I'm gonna have it powder coated, I think I'd really rather just use a real color, not just go black. This one here is called Illusion Malbec. It's like a maroon color, but I'm gonna pass on that. I don't really want to do red. And then white, of course. I wanted to see what the flake and the white look like. This one is Diamond Pearl. I'm sure white would look cool, but right now I'm leaning towards a darker color scheme because the pipes are getting wrapped, and so the whole thing is going to have sort of a darker color scheme. Ultimately, I'd like to paint these bars because these are a bit scratched up, and if I'm painting the bars, I might as well paint the risers and the upper triple flam. So if all of this is black, it's going to darken everything, and I just think a darker tank and fender are going to look cool. So anyway, that's where we're at. Thanks for following along, everybody.